So first, it's Bhargavi Yeri.
Hi, good evening. Should I share my work? Shall I do it now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Please let me know if it is visible.
Yeah, it's loading.
Yeah, it's
Go slideshow mode, please.
I did actually. I think it's a bit slow. I think the system is a bit slow.
Yes, there's a lag, but that's all right. You can
Are you
start
able
in
to
the
see
meanwhile. Yeah, we are on your
slide?
first slide.
Hey, but you're not able to see my slideshow?
No, it's not in slideshow mode as of now.
It is in working mode. It is in working
Now
mode.
it is.
Now
Is it okay now? Okay.
Yeah.
You're able to see the slideshow. So hi, before I go into the topic which I have chosen, first of all, a very good evening to all of you, to the IMPRI panelists, to my cohort members. I have not really prepared much because I had a full day working today. So kindly pardon me if there is any mistakes or anything. So coming to the topic, before going to the topic, I would like to give a brief profile about myself, basically because this will relate to the topic which I have chosen. So I'm Bhargavi Yeri. I'm basically an electrical engineer and I have a certification in supply chain management. Recently, I have completed a senior management program from IMPRI. I stood second in a cohort of 94 people. My professional journey began in 2003. I have completed my engineering in 2003, and from there, I was a site engineer. I have worked across the construction industry. Started my career as a cross-country pipeline engineer. And from that, after 22 years, I'm heading the purchase department. The industry exposure which I have had is in oil and gas, electrical, real estate, drinking water supply, irrigation, manufacturing, roads and highways, power plants. Currently, I'm working in a company which is into power plants and renewables. So basically, I have covered the entire gamut of construction except probably the railways, which is still there in my bucket list. Apart from that, the leadership influence is that I'm currently in a leadership role. So I also participate in organizational decision making. And I'm very passionate about gender representation and women empowerment in this industry. My areas of interest are value chain and STEM-based industries, the gender equity in that. I would like to give you a disclaimer here. Because I have this kind of an experience in the construction industry, most of the incidents, most of the photographs, most of the videos which I would have taken is from my own personal experience. So, and most of the incidents also. So it will be more of a lived in experience and the research will also be based on that. Recently, we had a session last week, I think, wherein one of the presenters had asked us to visualize a particular incident and the gender associated with it. So coming to that, when you visualize a person in helmet and side shoes on a crane or a JCB giving instructions to the site team, using a walkie-talkie or a blueprint, standing on a girder and then guiding the directions, also probably smoking and using construction language, you don't visualize. What do you actually visualize? You don't visualize a female. Similarly, when you imagine a person at a reception desk filing and doing documentation, or in a CSR activity, or in a training session, or as an HR who's organizing parties and events, or even as a legal intern, I'm not saying a legal head, I'm talking about a legal intern, what gender would actually come to your mind? So in the first case, it would definitely be a man. In the second case, it would definitely be a woman. And why are we into these kind of stereotypes? What shape these gendered mental images? One second. My screen is visible, right? So before coming to why these stereotypes exist, I would like to tell you a story, or it's a real story, or it's a real incident. So when I was working in one of the organizations, I had a few female engineers reporting to me. So when the receptionist was on leave, the front desk executive, so my management said, why don't you make your engineers sit there? So that was, and my female engineers were struck with. It was not a male engineer which was asked to sit, not interns, and definitely not the admin staff. It was a female engineer who was made to sit there till a replacement was in place. What this reveals is qualified engineers were reduced to symbolic. One second, I'm not able to see my whole screen. Can you just excuse me for a second? Yeah. So qualified engineers were reduced to symbolic roles. They said, you look right, you look presentable. The male colleagues were not asked to sit there. And there was an invisible gender hierarchy there. What actually does it do? It erodes the confidence, and it also emphasizes that the females are always considered second tier in these kind of technical roles. That is why basically this is इंसान को डिब्बे में सिर्फ तब होना चाहिए जब वो मर चुका हो. It is a boxed in concept. It is not where you're getting a freedom. Can I also, there is one more story which I would like to share. I'm just sharing a video first, and then I'll come to the story part of it. Let me know if the video is getting shared. Are you able to see the video?
No.
Okay. Do I have to share the video separately? One second. Is it okay now?
Yeah. There is no sound. It's too much.
Just 1 second, please. Some problem with my. Are you able to see the screen share mode?
Yeah.
It's in working mode right
Oh,
now,
sorry,
but Bhargavi ji, we're also on a time-bound presentation.
Sorry. No. I just wanted to tell you. I'll be a little bit quicker. Sorry, because of this one. So this was my kids on my construction site. So there was my daughter studies in urban design, and she was like, in a studio where she was asked work-related questions, and then she was very enthusiastic because she had just seen the site. So her lecturer was very impressed, and he asked that, does your family work in the construction sector? And when she said yes, the very next question which was asked to her was, oh, great. So which company does your father work for? So these are the stereotypes which we are talking about. It is not about, the lecturer would have never imagined that a mother could be working in the construction industry. So these kind of stereotypes exist in the society. Even, I'll be a little bit quicker now. Even when it is a general question, when you meet a person, when you meet a man, what is the question which you ask is, where do you work? But when you meet a woman, what is the question you ask is that, do you work? So these are the kind of stereotypes which are already ingrained into us. So the stereotypes exist, the stereotypes persist. There are a reason for these stereotypes to be existing. And my research paper would be basically finding out why historically these reasons have existed and how we can go forward. But one reason is that there is a skewed workforce, and that is why the stereotypes are existing, and it is becoming a vicious circle. We are not coming out of it. I would also like to say that I have been having a privileged kind of a background where I have had a support from the parents, from the in-law side, from my kids' side, from my mentors, from my bosses, and I have really not faced gender discrimination. But I have had all these enabling factors. Coming to think of it, for women, having enablers is a privilege, but it is not a guarantee. But when you see, for men, it is a default. Men are always having these enablers. Men have always these support systems. For women, it is a by chance, by luck. But for men, it is a given. And that is what this movie probably depicts also. Dil Dhadakne Do. Coming to this, so my journey with IMPRI, initially when I was thinking and I was doing this, my first thought was that I would be working on women in the construction industry. I would be researching on that. But when I came to understand after a few sessions that for women, the enablers are quite different compared to men. For men, we really don't need enablers because you have them by default. So as a woman, if we are not having the privilege or the luck of having enablers, then the society, it's the duty of the society, it is the duty of the community to come together to have a framework in such a way that it enables the women to continue in the construction industry. And that is what my research would be about. Coming to think of it, as in India, we are always wanting something which is economical. So I have taken an analogy from the ESG framework, that is environment, social, and governance kind of a policy, and equating it to the women in the construction field. So we can actually, what exactly, for the uninitiated, what exactly is environmental and social and governance policy is something which is very clear from the slides. How a company cares for the planet, how it reduces the pollution, does it use natural resources, is it good to the community, is it good to the society, is it good to its employees, does it have fair practices, is it transparent, is it legal, those kind of things. And in each of these frameworks, you can have a compulsory inclusion of the women. So that, so my policy, my research would be basically on women-centered value chain framework, which is very similar to ESG. In ESG, when you have each of these points, and if you start insisting on participation of women on each of these points, then we can have a similar kind of a framework where you're incentivizing and you're rewarding the companies for including women at each level of your value chain. And that becomes a 360-degree gender value chain framework. These are the various value chain stages where you can introduce the women, that is entry and recruitment, skilling, training, retention, growth, leadership, vendor supply. And then you can measure and then you can have the impact. You will find out the impact of it. We are all knowing that there are no free lunches and people will not do it free of cost. People have suddenly not become green or suddenly they have not developed a conscience. But when you start penalizing them or rewarding them is when people will start including the women, especially in the government, especially in the construction industry. So this is something, this is a policy blueprint, basically, how on what topics I planning to research and how the other companies, how the other organizations, states, probably different governments, different countries have actually done something on these particular aspects. So I'm just not reading into it because of the timeline. What I just wanted to say is what is being done is now specifically only symbolic. It is scattered and it is just for the sake of compliance, it is being included. Whereas what should be done is we have to have a system, we have to have measures, it should be measurable, and it should also be coming into the financial balance sheet of the company so that it is made mandatory and it becomes operational as a framework. So if women can build lives, families, and businesses, they can also be in the construction industry for a long duration of time. So it is very important for people like us to make way for the future of our country also. So that's it. That is what I want to research on. And special thanks to IMPRI for the thought process also. So,
Yeah.
I just stop sharing.
Yes. I have two questions. One is about the security issue of safety at the construction site, because I had a sister who was excellent she became BE Civil in the year 1968, but by choice. She was excellent in drafting, but she never went to the field. It was so difficult for women engineers to be in the field, no? Right from drivers to everyone. There are so many horror stories circulating. So that is one question. The second is that cluster approach. For political scientists have been debating right from the 60s that should in cluster instead of one or two. Hello? Instead of one or two. Hello?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Yeah,
yes.
Now?
Yes.
So instead of one or two women at the work site, can't we have a cluster of them? Because that's what succeeded in Panchayati Raj institution, no?
Yes.
That women, 33% women, when they are there in Panchayat, they can share with each other, they can empower each other, and they can collectively raise their voice and have agenda setting power. So
right. Nowadays, organizations are also targeting nearly 50%. We have in our power plant, we have around 20-25 engineers, so they all go in a cluster. safety issue is something which we are addressing now. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So that also, I think, in your essay, if you can bring this,
definitely, ma'am. Thank you so much.
in terms of recommendation and what emerges from the experience. Thank you. Very good.
Thank you.
Very insightful. Yes.
Thank you, Bhargavi ji.
Thank you.
Ritu ji, if you could please go ahead now.
Sure.
And going forward, just a note to everybody, please be mindful of the time. We'll be giving you a reminder at the 4-minute mark, and I'll ask you to wrap up in a couple of minutes.
Sure. So, very good evening to everyone. My research topic is conscious leadership for global impact and growth. And the insights that I have for this research are from women-led institution Brahma Kumaris. I would like to start with this short poem which says, "They began as whispers in a quiet land, not with thrones or crowns in hand. Women of faith with hearts aflame, carved a path where none laid claim. From silence grew a global song, a call to peace where all belong. Not power's weight, nor ego's might, but service rooted in inner light. Across the seas their message spread, hope restored where fear once led. A mother's love, a leader's care, conscious heart beyond compare. So the story tells both bold and true. Leadership begins with the I made new. For when the soul leads gentle yet strong, the world finds harmony where all belong. So here is a story of Brahma Kumaris and how a women-led institution has grown and created an impact overall in the world. So it started in 1937 in Hyderabad, and the founder father was Dada Lekhraj. The uniqueness of this institution is that institution actually started even acknowledged by the leaders. Now, if we think of those times, we understand that how women were caged in home and were not expected to lead or manage, any institution or an organization. And basically, it's a movement based on spiritual values, meditation, and service. The global footprint from 1936 to now till date, the growth of the organization is what we can see here, present in more than 140 countries across 5 continents and more than 7,000 centers across the world. Consultative status with UN, be it UNESCO, Economic and Social Council, UNICEF, different organizations of UN, they also have consultative status with them. And the main contribution that it is making or the impact that it has created is in global peace building, climate action, and gender equality. So my research basically talks about the qualities and the leadership qualities that the women at Brahma Kumaris had that enabled the growth of the organization. I've included one of the case studies which highlights the same. Here is a case study of Dadi Prakashmani, who became the administrative head of Brahma Kumaris in the year 1969. And from maybe a few dozens of centers based in India and maybe few in South Asia to having centers across more than 100 countries across 5 continents and more than thousands of centers. So that's the growth story that we saw as far as the Brahma Kumaris is concerned under the leadership of Dadi Prakashmani. Her enduring legacy established a foundation of inner transformation and spiritual values unmatched worldwide. So this is one of the very rare women-led institution worldwide which has created the kind of growth and impact that you see on the screen right now. Here are some insights from the present leader, B.K. Jayanti Didi ji. She is the present administrative head of Brahma Kumaris. According to her, the basis of global presence of Brahma Kumaris is that everyone studies the same spiritual teachings across the world and meditates in similar way all across the regions and boundaries. She also highlighted that a nurturing and stable environment at Brahma Kumaris is due to trust in one God and working towards the same goal of peace, harmony, truth, and purity. Now
Rituji, you have a minute to wrap up, please.
Sure. Now coming to the findings that I was able to do, I mean, there was a questionnaire which I circulated to the leadership team, mainly including the directors of various regions and other leadership members. The findings that I had is the significance of impact of women leadership. Most of the respondents felt that the women leadership had a significant impact on the growth of the organization. They also saw that women leaders at Brahma Kumaris, they exemplified the values which are spiritual in nature. As far as inclusivity is concerned, leaders rated the women leaders at Brahma Kumaris to be fully inclusive to various cultures, backgrounds. So, because the organization is spread across different countries, people of different genders, religions, all are a part of the organization. So, it was rated fully inclusive. Collective decision making, I wouldn't say fully, but what I observed through my research is major decisions were made together, and some of them were made individually too. Replicability of the model, the model was viewed as adaptable by other institutions in moderation. So it was not completely replicable as per the findings that I currently have. Of course, I'm taking some more responses from some of the leaders, but these were the initial findings that I have from the research. What I'm also going to do is analyze the data further and have more findings and interpretations of the data soon. So that is it about the research. I would like to end with this final thought. The Brahma Kumaris grew not through power or wealth, but through the quiet strength of women who led with purity, love, and service, showing that conscious leadership begins within, yet transforms the world. So I'll stop sharing the screen. This was just a little overview about the research. Of course, there is a lot of analysis that I'll be doing.
Because see, the focus of this fellowship program is a public policy. So to what extent intervention, developmental intervention in terms of empowerment of the underserved communities through education, skill building, environmental sustainability, or health initiatives, or other employment or vocational training. So in this arena, what has been the contribution? I think that should be the focus, because when we are at the end of your study, you have to say that what kind of public spiritualism. Okay, you like your God. There are hundreds of gods, and who you like and your relationship with your God and spiritual, it is your personal plan. But when it comes to public policy, I think we need to talk about the ecosystem and the society in which we are. So I think that aspect should have a prominence in your presentation and in your essay. Because we respect all faiths, no, not only Brahma Kumari's faith, everybody's faith, because even in this cohort, there may be people who have a different faith, but all of them we respect as human beings. Here, the question is that on the yardstick of public policy, what has been the contribution of Brahma? That should be also.
Sure, ma'am. What I'll do is I'll include some of the initiatives in.
Because that brings the transformative change. Like
Definitely,
people who earlier could not get education, now they are getting education. Those who did
some
not
of
have
the
basic means of livelihood or dignity, they are now getting a dignified living. Or those who were very suffering because of no attention to the health needs, now they are getting. So these type of initiatives of Brahma Kumaris are also there. And if you can highlight that, and from that model, that when collective decision is making, when there is a high level of motivation, and when you have a rapport with the community, what kind of transformative changes you can bring. No? Like I know in Malad, there was one big garbage dump, which Brahma Kumaris took over that area and converted that garbage into a garden. And now in Malad. So those type of experiments are there.
There are many such, yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, so and they had invited me for the March 8th International Women's Day, and they told the story of that area, which was nothing but garbage and dirty stink. and how they beautified it with the help of their devotees and the people. Because once you do good work, there are so many people who also come to support you. So those processes, if you can bring out, it would be important in terms of that.
Sure, ma'am. I'll do that.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rituji. Nilanjana ji, please go ahead.
Yes, give me a minute to just share my screen. Yeah. So good evening, everyone. I'm Nilanjana this side, and I come from a mental health background, and that's where I have drew my research idea from. So my research topic is gendered barriers to mental health, help seeking, and its policy implications. So going ahead, I have this images that are generated digitally, and I have a poem that goes with it. So basically, all these images are snips. These are ideas from back from my field experiences that I have in the community, where I have seen how health seeking is very different when it comes to gender. While a woman, they come, their ways of distress is how their expressions of distress, how they are very distinct from a man. So I also have a short poem that goes, it's titled Between Silence and Care. In villages where dusk leans low, men gather with liquor and smoke, their laughter carrying the weight of words they dare not speak. Women bent with water pots hold the silence in their arms. Care woven into every gesture, yet unseen in policy lines. Health centers stand in white walls of promise, hollow inside, where gender is erased and suffering slips through cracks. But in the folds of song and story, in the courage of naming pain, a new horizon hopefully away, where stigma breaks and care holds every voice without asking who may speak. So, if you see, look at the Indian mental health architecture, it is mainly anchored in the National Mental Health Program in 1982, the District Mental Health Program 1996, and the National Mental Health Policy 2014. However, if you go through all those programs and policy, gender is one word which you won't see. It remains gender neutral at its core. So that is where my the research inspiration grew, and more like wanted to do an inquiry on why gender, which is such an integral part of and cross-cutting to mental health as well, why gender is not there in the policies as well. If you see historically also, India has limited and often there is silence around revising the mental health policy and embedding gender as an cross-cutting issue. However, when I went deeper, so my research question is framed around how is mental health care access dependent on gender disparities at the level of public policy. And when I went deeper into literature search and other things, I found that there are studies which reveal that the meanings of distress and recovery are deeply embedded in sociocultural contexts. There is a research by Patel where they have mentioned that treatment gap in India records up to 70 to 80%, and 70 to 80% of people who do not receive mental health care. And women, if you see, they are burdened with caregiving roles, restricted mobility, systemic stigma, and they remain at a risk of untreated distress, while men, their adherence to hegemonic masculinity norms. It builds on reluctance. It builds on behaviors such as beats,
You have a minute to wrap up.
right, framing emotional vulnerability as weakness. So that's the motivation for research. It emerged from the lacuna of inquiry or exploration on the thought. And with this research question, my objectives were clear: to map out the policies, programs, guidelines that represent access to services, identify gender determinants, and propose actionable and gender responsive solutions. So method-wise, I have chosen Bakshi's What's the Problem Represented approach as an overall framework, wherein I will be, through which I'll be analyzing the mental health policies that are there. Initial preliminary findings were that policy frame access as infrastructure and workforce deficit. However, gender has been unaccounted. Implementation tools, when it came to district mental health program template and 12 plan guideline, it has only emphasized service points and an equality of improvement in service points and training, but there is no mention of gender disaggregated planning, so that can be taken up. One of the effects is that such kind of policy, if it continues, then it only normalizes the kind of situation where the outreach is low, and it sustains the treatment gap and prevails the stigma around mental health and mental health access as well. So three of the recommendation that I could come up with: sex disaggregated and intersectional data can be collected and incorporated within the policies, training of primary health workers to recognize gendered expression of distress, and develop gender disaggregated data systems to inform planning. So going ahead, I am still continuing to analyze the literature research more thoroughly. So that is all from my end. Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. All the images that you are using may have a copyright problem, so be careful. Yeah, so better use your pictures taken by you, no? Not from the internet. Just
Ma'am,
check.
ChatGPT, sorry,
Yeah.
they are actually AI built. So
Actually.
yeah,
Then you will have to write the source also that
okay,
they are
okay, I'll do
AI-built,
that.
no? Because otherwise IMPRI will be in difficulty because it is
Okay.
anthology. Now, other issue is that of the patriarchal bias in psychiatry. I think in the introduction, after that, you will have to, I think, bring out. There are a lot of writings by a person like Juliet Mitchell, Feminism and Psychoanalysis, or the books by edited volumes by Minu Anand. They also deal with that. They are by Springer publications, recent ones. They are like 2021 plus. And if you want, I can upload them here in the chat box. And other one is that Mental Health Act 2017, you should critically reflect on it. And how has it changed the game in terms of the support of the state or the systems and structures which are gender responsive to what extent? So that evaluation, if you can provide. And the budgetary allocation, for the first time, like after pandemic, we have a separate budgetary allocation for mental health, and how has been its utilization pattern. Except for Kerala, I don't think other states have even sent the proposals to use the. So resources are there, but they remain unutilized. So that aspect also you can break out, no? Because even in the gender responsive budgeting, there has been a demand for, like we economists have always demanded budgetary allocation, not only for in the public, like mental health is a public health issue. So mental health budgetary allocation should be there for the mental health intervention and also the follow-up.
Okay.
Are you aware of these books by Minu Anand?
Ma'am, I'm not. So I'll have to search.
No, I'm just uploading them. You download them.
Okay, thank you so
In the
much.
chat, I'm uploading.
I'll check.
Thank you, Mridulaji. Sorry, Nilanjanaji. Mridulaji, please go ahead.
Thank you. Namaskar. Today I'm going to present. Wait. My topic is From Ordinary to Extraordinary Everyday Leadership of Gadiya Lohar Women in India, in Bareilly especially. Gadiya Lohars are a nomadic ironsmith community originally from Rajasthan. Their name comes from the word Gadiya. In North India, especially Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, we call Gadi. Gadi means bullock cart, which they used to moving home while traveling from place to place. Historically, they migrated after the Mughal Rajput conflict, choosing not settle permanently. Their main occupation has been making their repairing iron tools, agriculture implements, and household items, which they sell in the local market because of their mobile lifestyle. They are often found living in the outskirts to town or the city temporary settlement. Now, my next. Why I choose this study. Although Gadiya Lohar are seen many part of India, socially they remain marginalized and excluded from mainstream society. Their settlements on the society outskirts reflect their long history of being pushed to marginalize. While their contribution to livelihood is significant, especially the role played by women in caring, rearing, managing household, and maintaining their traditional, it remains largely invisible. Women's agency is often overshadowed by stereotype men as ironsmith. Other reason for this study is lack of scholarship. Hardly any academic work has found on the community, and almost none of has highlighted women everyday struggle and leadership. By documenting their voices and experience, this study seeks to fill the gap and bring attention to an overlooked community. Next. Okay. Research question. I have two research question largely. How do Gadiya Lohar women demonstrate leadership in everyday life? Our other one is now what strategies do they employ to negotiate systematic marginalize? Literature gap. There is so many literature gap. Most of the research on Gadiya Lohars are centered around the culture, their nomadic lifestyle, and livelihood patterns, such as ironsmith work. These are the important aspects, but provide only the partial picture. What is missing is focus on women lives, their voice, their everyday struggles, and their contribution have rarely been documented. The narrative often overlook how women manage resource, take leadership in family decision, or negotiate with urban society. Next. Methodology. I use ethnographical method in Bareilly, spending time with community and their settlement. I conclude interviews with women and observe their everyday women work and negotiate. Further, this paper used to innovative approach, blend on participant observation, deep interview, semi-structured discussion while I'm working on it. This is a very uh, tentative slides.
You have a minute to wrap up, please.
Okay. Finding leadership. Economic decision, family negotiation, community problem, silent leadership. They decide what tool to make, when to sail. Even they are went to the sailing the Mela like Ramganga, Nepal border, Punagiri Mela. They select the areas and they alone went, and home the Mela still remain at the home. These are the leadership. Family negotiation key, like women margin dispute the between the children, guide their husband in the time of stress, and often ensure their daughter also to opportunity for education, even when resources are limited. Community problem solving, like there is a one problem, the road is not very kind of. Then they women group went to the parshad and ask why when our road will be make. So but still there is a challenge. I have some leadership depiction, like how these women are daily teach the girls in the community. I have, because the time was spent, these.
मैं चाहती हूँ कि औरत की जिंदगी दीदी यही नहीं है कि रोटी बनाओ, बर्तन धो, कपड़े धो, बच्चों को, सिर्फ यही काम नहीं है। अगर औरत चाहे तो अपना घर भी संभाल सकती है और बाहर का बिजनेस भी संभाल सकती है, अपनी लाइफ को खुद बना सकती है, अपना जीवन आदमी खुद ही अच्छा करता है। अगर हम मेहनत करेंगे, कर्म करेंगे ना, तो वो मेहनत एक ना एक दिन रंग लाती है।
So there is still, they are aware, still there is the same time they are facing so many challenges, such as living in the society marginalized, not only the isolate. Sometimes police man is coming, they have toilet problem daily, and they have so very small challenging. They don't have the Aadhaar ID, a ration card, because they don't have the permanent settlement address. So they are facing policy recommendation. My recommendation are skill development and enterprise support, especially for the women, access to the education for girls, and formal recognition of women leadership in community program and policy framework. At the end, in conclusion, Gadia Lohar women not passing dependent, they are resilient leaders how show agency through everyday actions, whether in family, work, or community. They redefine leadership by turning silence and struggle into the strength. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mridulji. There are two references which I have shared in the chat box for you on Gadia Lohar women. But the similar studies in Maharashtra have shown that the child mortality rate, maternal mortality rate, anemia, reproductive tract infections are much higher among these women. There even water shortages they face, the question of menstrual hygiene, all these issues have been documented. What similar women, they are the DT&T community, denotified, and they are doing various occupations, as you said, that the way your Gadia Lohar women are doing here, they do the what you call stone cutters and all. They also have nomadic communities and all. And developmental organizations have also seen that the government schemes, whether it is the Indira Awas Yojana or Rajiv Gandhi housing scheme, they should also be there. And also in the ashram shala, the children should be given admission. And for that, I think the first campaign is that of getting ration card and Aadhaar card for them. And that has now intensified after pandemic because they suffered a lot during pandemic because of the lockdown. tremendous hunger and misery, and that also made so many developmental activists to take up, including Ajivika Foundation and that Prithvi Usa's organization. No? They had taken up this issue. So I think that also you can bring up, but also main thing that uh, the ground reality of or a day-to-day survival struggle of Gadia Lohar women and its impact on their life worlds. No? So that is also very important. So I think you will get literature on that, and you can also do the comparison with other states because they are also pretty nomadic tribes. So we have nomadic tribes in Maharashtra also, the huge proportion of nomadic tribes we have, and what kind of developmental interventions that can make, and can some of the best practices be replicated. That's good. Very good.
Thank you.
And you have brought in this whole question of brutalization by the state, the police. Thank you.
Thank you,
And,
Vibhuti.
yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
and on mental health also, I have shared 3 references in the chat box. You can download.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Meher, if you could go ahead next.
Sambhashan is also special number on mental
Just a second. I hope my screen is visible.
It's uploading.
You'll have to double click to enter this.
Uh,
Miss, we are not able to see your. So there's the notice.
Is it visible now?
Yes, it's working now.
Okay. So good evening, everyone. My name is Mehar Valia. I'm currently a third year undergraduate student pursuing political science. And for my creative presentation, I have written a poem. It's not as good as the previous fellows, but I've still given it a try. So before going ahead with the poem, I would like to introduce a bit on my research topic. So my topic is Women at the Helm, reflecting on their journey, on the journey in India's national governance. So since I am a political science student, I have read a lot of texts of various political thinkers and philosophers on ideas, abstract ideas like liberty, equality, and justice. But what I've noticed is they lack a very huge feminist side. And it is much later that these theories have been brought into question about where is the feminine side, what about women. Even in the text, they have mentioned only men, he, they use the male pronouns. So that's how so which is still continue to impact in everyday aspect even today as well. So this slogan, women's rights are human rights, it is a slogan raised in the Vienna Conference on Human Rights, and India stood as one of the member states to formalize the famous convention on the elimination of all forms of discrimination against women. So now just where we are at the current position is that while women's representation in the Lok Sabha has increased over time, it is still very relatively low. The proportion of the women members of parliaments rose from 4.5% in 1951 to only 14.4% in the 17th Lok Sabha in 2019. And currently, it has dropped down to 13.7%. So you can see from the 1st to the 17th Lok Sabha, and only a total of 78 women have held positions within the Union Council of Ministers. And since 1989, only 11 women have been appointed to the Supreme Court of India. And as of mid-2025, there is only one female judge, Justice B.V. Nagaratna, out of the 31 sitting judges. And to look at more clearly to the data, India has 25 high courts, total strength of 114 judges. And according to the data, only 782 judges are serving, and only 107 judges, that is 13%, are currently women. So these figures clearly depict the very grim picture of women's roles in higher positions. So now, seeing what the recent policies have been there and the future outlook, the Women's Reservation Bill that even our expert today, Ms. Mariam Dhavla, mentioned, that reserves 1/3 of the all seats in the Lok Sabha. And this bill has been first introduced in 1996, but has been passed in September 2023. But however, the clause that states that this reservation will be enforced after a delimitation exercise, that is a redrawing of the constituency's boundaries. And since that consensus has not taken place due to the pandemic, it has been scheduled, and which has delayed the implementation even more. So now when we can say women's roles have increased, they can work on their own, they have a career. But even though they have gained the right to pursue career, the society still sees their primary responsibility as household chores and childcares, and duties that Indian society does not view as a shared responsibility between men and women. And this is a double burden. Basically, it's not like equality, it is household work and then career work. It is just a double addition of responsibilities rather than an equal share in responsibilities. So now coming to the poem, I have written about what we seek. So what is it that we seek? The tendency to hide our identity, uncovering the obscured appearances, a depot of enclosed realities. What is it that we seek? Asking others to perceive what we don't see. Who is it that we want to be, if not what others want us to be? What is it that we seek? Do our actions not speak? Not a thought for conformance. It's all about the eminence. What is it that we seek? Behind every wheel is a story concealed, figuring out its lead. So thank you. And I am done with my presentation. I'll stop the screen share.
Thank you, Ms. Mayor, for a very sharp and focused presentation. What would you suggest in terms of recommendations that should also come, because we are here, focus is on public policy. So your poem is beautiful, it's heart-touching, but in your essay and in your narrative, you should end with the suggestions that you give for all stakeholders, for the government, for political parties, for women, and for the society as a community. In what way we can create more enabling environment for women to meaningfully participate, and as from Mariam Dable said, it's not only representation, it's also voice and agency. So on that also, if you can work on. And that is, on this issue, like there is a lot of literature available, both
Yes.
books as well as articles. When IMPRI has produced.
So yes, I'm exploring the suggestions and I'll be including them in my essay. But just to, if I can say what I've observed is that being in an Indian society, which is every region has, their own culture, their own traditions. Like it's a very diverse country. So it's not like only as we have heard in the previous experts, that not a one fit approach does not work. It needs to be multidisciplinary. And as far as I'm concerned more of towards the younger generation, to be focused towards more on them, their education, and because they're the only ones who can actually change their mindset at this point of time. Because to be very honest, older generation, they are set in their own ways, but it's the younger generation that need not have to be impacted by the traditions that their grandparents or used to they follow, because then we are just back again in the same circle.
The grandparents were far more progressive than, at least in my family. They are
that's also
fighters. They were quoting arrest. They were fighting for India's freedom, and they also encouraged my generation to do whatever we wanted to, and that's why we were so active in women's movement. So if we just say that the earlier generation was conservative and current new generation is going to be more progressive, I think that would be very simplistic. And
that
very
is
essentialist way of saying. Main thing is that what is the content, what is the focus, how to build self-esteem and also self-confidence among younger generation. That you it's not only your life that you are concerned about. You have to concern about the larger issues and the social transformation in favor of gender equality. So that for that there are so many other factors also responsible, no? Within family, education, what is the content of education, what kind of political culture we are in. So I think all these complex intersectional factors and perspective you need to think in your analysis.
Yes. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Meher. Next, Sonamji, if you could go ahead, please.
Good evening, and my deep respect to Professor Vibhuti, ma'am, and my special thanks to IMPRI for giving me an opportunity to present my video essay today. And my topic is a little bit, alienated from whatever topic presentation has already been done. It's my topic is basically is an in-depth study on the rights of, with regard to educational rights of disabled children in Sikkim. And because I was already working on this particular topic and I was having a very deep interest on the same, so I thought I'll link it with this fellowship and give it a meaningful, publication. So I would like to go further, share my, for today's presentation, I have prepared a short video reel sort of thing on my research as to what am I doing and what is it all about. So So with this, the video ends here. And further, I would like to discuss a few points here where during the process of my writing, I could actually see a large gap. When we went to the schools, we could see a large gap between the acts and law and its implementation. With regard to the infrastructure, it was not at all in line with what was supposed to be in the guidelines. And books of NCRT were used by the special schools, and many changes had to be worked on that area, wherein disabled-friendly books were needed to be introduced. Even the teachers were special educated teachers were requesting us that if you could highlight this point in a paper, then that some authority could read it, and they come to help us with regard to this particular issue. And two of the buildings which we went, schools which we went with, were in very limited class spaces were there in the classroom. There were no spaces for extracurricular activities like playground and whatever was there with regard to the act. Act says that there should be a playground, there should be equality between the normal children and the differently able children, but that was not seen in two of the schools. And even there was what to say, feedback which was given by the staffs over there that doctors and psychologists and speech therapists, physical education, though they were there, but they were coming into the schools weekly once, and which they feel were not, weekly or twice in a month, which is not enough for the differently able children, especially with children who are dealing with intellectual disability and multiple disability and autistic children. So maybe after making the analysis of this paper, and after the survey report has been collected, one of the schools in Namchi has yet to be visited by the researcher. We are supposed to go there next week. And after that, what we thought was like, we put up this before the secretary of the Women and Child Department, and one of the paper which I'm working on will be placed before the secretary. If at all, we thought like if he doesn't work on the same, we thought like we might go for a PIL in the High Court, like for implementing the actual what was written in the act and what we saw with our bare eyes were not in sync. So we also want to work on that line. So these people really opened our eyes as to what actually is there in the books, does not really does not reflect in the actual doing. So implementation is a very big issue with regard to such acts, and it needs rigorous sensitization and like research and more of writings and more of awareness through I say that through like institute like IMPRI and through other sensitization programs. So with this, I would like to conclude, and I'd like to thank IMPRI again for giving me this opportunity to work on my topic. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Sonam Dickey. I think this is very important topic that you have chosen, also much neglected. But I would like to focus that you need to take care of the types of disabilities and what are the technological assistance possible and what is the cost of it. No? So that is also very important in the budgetary allocation, because that is also the demand of 2016 law, that you need to create that infrastructure. Plus, as we have in university, the index, no, how your campus is disabled friendly. Do we have that even for the schools? And how often it is the inspection takes place, and what kind of measures are taken if the schools are defaulting?
Both the schools, ma'am, both the schools were not barrier friendly, because one school was just on the road and they were not there were no spaces. Even if the child could just walk out of the door, and the road it was just nearby the road. So I felt that it was not very barrier friendly, just like it was written in the act. So
yeah. So I think that you have to highlight, and what are the penalties. So I think little more information about how 2016 law, after that 9 years of its inaction, been implemented, and have there been some exemplary action which the state has taken, no, or the education department has taken? Then other thing is that the technology, like in my university, we had a talking computer that was also supported under the budget of the state government as well as union government. And other thing is that reader is provided to a visually impaired person. So from student classmate only, we say who would like to volunteer as a reader. That reader is also given some honorarium or incentive in terms of either marks or I think maybe monetary compensation. Different institutions have different practices. Xavier's College is the one which has 80 visually impaired students, highest number of students in our country. And even the director of the Center for Visually Impaired people, students, and is also a person with, he's a pet natural but he's very proactive. So I think this kind of support system that would there. Plus, when it comes to giving admission to disabled students, what kind of subversion takes place? I sat on so many selection committee, and you have to literally fight with remaining members to induct them. Like I'm talking about teaching them as a teacher, but the other 7 or 8 members will just subvert it. They said, no, we can't take. It will reduce the efficiency, or it will reduce we will have to do more work. Just even if you want to take someone from polio so that that person can be for if you're a visually impaired person or a speech and hearing the challenge they have, then they would discourage the country and they will subvert. Even like we have a 2% reservation, and still they would do that. Even in the reserve seat, they would not give. So I think this kind of some of the experiences that you could bring in, that how it pans out, the law, how is it, what are the hurdles we face at a ground level in the ecosystem of education sector, that will be more convincing to the policymakers also. And then you can say that what kind of incentives and disincentives the state can have in terms of penalty for those who are defaulting and those who are indulging in best practices, what kind of model schools, like you have created model schools like Kasturba Gandhi Vidyalaya for the bright students from the weaker section. Can we have such model schools and amplify their experiences and replicate those experiences? And it's just showing remaining education institutions that it is doable. There is nothing, it's not a rocket science you can do.
Thank you, ma'am. I'll read more about these things and I'll put it in.
Yeah. And there is a special number of Sage has also come out with special number on disability studies. It is in Indian context. So works of Renu Adlatha, Anita Ghai, they have Srilata Juva, Sandhya Limaye, Sujata Bhan.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All the best. Yeah, very good. So are you a medical doctor? Are you a medical doctor? Dr. Sona?
No, ma'am, I'm a doctorate in law.
So then I think law also you can, they can start. Fine. Thank you.
Thank you, Sonamji. Garima ji, if you could please go ahead.
Yes, ma'am, sure. I'll just share the screen. I hope my PPT is visible.
Yes.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Garima Singh. I'm a doctoral research scholar at Bennett University, and the topic that I have chosen throughout the cohort is Gender and Labor, a study on the Sumangli system in India. So, Sumangli basically means a happily married woman. So, in my presentation, in my topic, I will be talking about the Sumangli scheme. It merely looks like a scheme, but it is more of a system of exploitation of young women laborers who are employed in the textile, especially more than 80% are employed in the spinning mills of the South India, and that is majorly in the Tamil Nadu region.
So first we will understand what is the Sumangli scheme and why it is a problematic thing. So Sumangli scheme is widespread in Tamil Nadu's textile industries and it is regarded as a form of modern slavery and which is disguised as an employment opportunity for young women. So in Sumangli scheme, basically the young adolescent girls aged from 16, even they are minors or generally from age from 18 to 21, they basically go and to work in a in textile industries and mills to earn their dowry. So the purpose of going there is to earn their dowry and not the employment, because these girls are recruited from the poor, marginalized, or the low caste or the Dalit sections of the society, and the parents don't have much funds to, organize their weddings and to throw lavish parties or something like that. So these girls, they have the burden to earn their dowry. So they go and work in those mills, and this system is similar in characteristics with this system of bonded labor. Although we all know that bonded labor and forced labor has been eradicated and there are laws against it, but still is prevalent in some way or the other in through this scheme. So recruitment and traps. So basically, the brokers or the contractors which go to recruit these girls, they go under the guise that they will have better opportunities, better working conditions, better life, and they will earn their dowry. So parents don't have to bear the financial burden of marrying their daughter off. So they go and recruit these girls from villages or tribal areas and just send them off to the industries. But what happens basically is they never sign, or mostly girls, they don't sign formal contracts. So even when a dispute raises or something happens, they don't have a document to show that if they are really employed or not, or various other reasons arise. And the working conditions, so they have long working hours, the 12-hour shifts, poor ventilation, unhygienic and dusty environments as they are working in the spinning mills, and their targets are so long, like their targets of clothing or the sorting out things in the value chain, it is so long that they feel like punishment, like why are they even doing so, and the sum which they are getting is not very much also. And since the Tamil Nadu experiences heat waves and has a humid weather and everything, so the heat wave and the extreme heat is affecting their health. And the supervisors are often male with abusive authority, and there's a constant fear of harassment also. And these females also face gender-based violence because there has been instances of beating, of sexual harassment, and a girl 16 an 18-year-old girl also committed suicide. She was found hanging from a tree and she was employed in that mill, but eventually the reason followed that they could not find an actual contract, like how is she employed in that mill. Then the objectives of my study will be to identify the reasons behind these labor rights violations in the form of Sumangli scheme, to analyze the legal framework governing labor rights and violations in India, and what are the challenges associated with ineffective enforcement by government agencies. And lastly, to address these violations by suggesting appropriate measures to eradicate the Sumangli system.
Please wrap up in a minute.
Okay. I think I can't move much. Ma'am, I I think I'm through a technical glitch. I can't move my slide further.
We are on
It's
the
it's it's
objectives.
it's stuck. Yeah, it's stuck in the objectives. I wanted to move forward.
Click on the screen
I,
once and then
I'll
use the
share again.
arrow.
I'll share
Okay.
again. Maybe it will work.
Okay.
Okay, so it is not working. I don't know why it is not moving beyond the objectives, but I will just conclude with. Is it moving now, ma'am?
Yes, it's on the legal framework
Okay.
and
Yeah.
challenges.
Thank you. So the legal framework and the challenges associated with it are, so these are the four major legislations which actually guide the labor law jurisprudence in India, which is which also deals with the bonded labor system. So first is the Bonded Labor System Abolition Act 1976. Second is the Factories Act 1948, the Child and Adolescent Labor Prohibition and Regulation Act 1986, and the Minimum Wages Act 1948. So despite a strong labor law regime in India and also these laws, there has been a weak enforcement of these laws, and that's why the schemes like Sumangli are even today prevalent in India after so much work in the for the women welfare. So the challenges which are the weak enforcement, informal contracts, corporate complicity, and the fear of mill owners by marginalized sections, because the girls fear that if I raise the voice or if I expose the abuse, that they will lose their job, or worse, they will face the social stigma, and then even their parents can't be, they will be ostracized and they can't accept her. So the remedies which I have suggested are inclusivity. So the solutions should be inclusive to both management and workers, and they should be negotiated through a social dialogue. So there can be an internal grievance mechanism and democratically elected committees in collaboration with local unions in the government. Second, the main thing, strong legal enforcement, boosting the enforcement action by independent mill audits and imposing stricter punishment in case the employer is found guilty. Third, capacity building. So the violations of workers' rights are major concern, and to ensure sustainable improvement, trainings and awareness building should be integral in addressing these problems. And fourth, to provide them with alternative livelihood and training skills to women workers so they don't have to work under these exploitative conditions. And last, there should be immense pressure from international supply chains to stop this labor recruitment practice, because eventually the international brands have these supply chains, and at the grassroots level this is happening, so they should be made aware, and they are aware of this, but there should be immense pressure on them that it should be completely eradicated. Thank you. This is my presentation. And also to further add, I want to say that there has some work has been done to eradicate the Sumangli scheme, but it still exists in the present form. And now its name has been changed to apprenticeship, or like we say internship, but the word they use is apprenticeship. That we are providing apprenticeship or the skills, or livelihood skills to these women, and so they will be better situated in the society. But the reality is far from that, and still it is similar to the Sumangli scheme, but now the girls don't work for dowry, but now they are very very much stuck in the garment industry, in the labor industry, with these exploitative conditions. Thank you.
So thank you very much. The very important study, which have been earlier also done by Padmini Swaminathan or Mani Meklai or S. Anandi, Madras Institute of Development Studies have done it. And currently what we see is that there is going to be a lot of setback in this industry because of the Trump's tariff. There are a lot of all these garment manufacturers till they find the new markets, because America is one of the major
Yes, ma'am.
buyers. No, so that is a challenge that you need to take into consideration in your how in the change circumstances what's going to happen. Number one, because other aspects you have brought in the question of labor process and whole dormitory based production system which India borrowed from China, as he said, because China had a hostels in the premises, special economic zone, where they had to sign the agreement that, and it is basically to save the transport time and transport cost. No, so that was the this thing, and other exploitative aspects you have brought out. But I think it's a question of the government allowing it to happen, no? Because now you don't need a comprador who is a agent of imperialists, but you have the state government which facilitates this in the name of women empowerment. So that also you need to take that how the political structures, no, they also use the patriarchal biases and see women as the cheapest labor, especially the young unmarried women. They are seen to be the best source of cutting the cost. And it is not only in India, all Asian countries did that during, right from the 80s, Sri Lanka or Bangladesh, whole garment industry of Bangladesh, or you can see even the SEZs in Pakistan, or even in Southeast Asian countries, Malaysia, Philippines, uh, 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 and Indonesia. All of them, they use women as a cheapest labor. And the new term that came out was a sweatshop. So it was a global, uh, 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 you can say, conspiracy or global arrangement, no? New international division of labor, which saw under like unmarried women who are dropped out from the school, or who have stopped their school either after 7th standard, 8th standard, or 12th standard, who are moderately educated, who can handle technology, and who are waiting for marriage, because now in most of the countries the marriage laws have also increased the age of marriage. No, in India it is now 21. So these women who are in the age group of 14 to 21, the 7 years, they call it catch them in loop. If you read the literature, so it is not only the employers who are the culprit, but there is a whole system of
Yes, yes,
employers,
ma'am.
state
Yes.
government, and the global. Because TNCs and MNCs, any time you bring up the human rights issue, they say, but we are not. We treat our workers very well. Those who are in America or Europe, it is only the subcontractor. But even in those countries, they are subcontractors. So who are the villains? Who are the subcontractors? Currently, you saw the mobile company, international mobile company, their workers in Karnataka, they went on a wildcat strike because they were not given their wages for 5 to 6 months, and all of them are under contract. And there is always a Damocles sword that if you don't uh, obey us, you'll be thrown out. No? So social security and social protection, that also comes, that is a major responsibility of the state. So what kind of social security and social uh, protection scheme that they need to have in terms of minimum wages, in terms of their safety at workplace, in terms of the workload? Can you make them work for 12 hours? There should be labor standards as stipulated by ILO. So all these issues you also should bring up in your discipline and show the connect, connect, connectivity between the global forces, the TNC, MNC, and the whole supply chain in which the state and non-state actors, how are they colluding to give, to give uh, minimum, or what you call, the not even the basic survival needs of these women, and also their dignity. They are a modern form of slavery. You rightly use that term, that persists. Uh, that's very important. And policies for the state government, policies for the union government, policies for the employer, the standard operative procedures for the employers, and mobilization at the ground level. Now, you may not see them in terms of a strike and demonstration and rally, but they have their WhatsApp group. Okay, all the workers, at least I have seen them in Gujarat also. These girls in small scale industries or in MIDCs and all. Employers don't want them to get united, but they do have their platform where they share what has gone wrong with them, and sometimes they also go on, they negotiate collectively, whether in the form of strike or in the form of any barging into the office of manager or the employer, or approaching media about the abysmal condition in which they are. So you have a modern form of slavery, but you also have a modern form of protest, or voicing their concerns, modern forms of representation, how these young women are using their technology, information technology, to reach out to the various stakeholders.
Okay, ma'am. I will keep these insights in the final paper. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Are you familiar with the studies by Padmini Swaminathan, Anandi,
Uh,
Mani
no,
Mehswal?
ma'am. No, ma'am. For this, I actually referred the online research articles and one PhD thesis from JNU.
So I'm sharing it in the chat box because I was teaching
Thanks.
this topic at GISC. So I think I should have those references. Yeah. So they are from the chat box. I have shared 8 references for Dr. Sonam. Dr. Sonam, you can download them. Now I'll just go ahead.
Nahuli ji?
Yes, yes, I am present on the screen. Is the screen visible?
Yes.
So, hello everyone. I am Naholi Banerjee. I am a third year undergraduate student pursuing history honors from Jadavpur University, Kolkata. And today I am going to present on the topic role of women's governance in rural SHGs. This is a topic for my research fellowship, uh, and I have also done and through my extended abstract, I have used the example of sorry, 1 minute. Yes, in the extended abstract, I have used one case study where I analyzed the women migrants in the Thar villages of Western Rajasthan. So while doing the research, I have found some limitations which I wanted to show that as I have chosen painting as my medium. So first of all, I want list down the limitations which I observed during my analysis, and then I have used painting as a medium that what can be the recommendations which can be utilized for policy, public policy, through the lens of public policy for these for women SHGs for these remote areas. So first of all, the limitations I observed are first of all limited education and digital literacy, as these remote areas or villages lack infrastructure uh, due to the government negligence or the administrative negligence. Many of the women members of the SHGs are unaware of the rights. Like, what can they actually do? Like how they can use internet or social or digital marketing channels for their entrepreneurship. Like the women of the Thar villages, they specialize in a special handicraft uh, and are known for their embroidery. But due to lack of resources, they uh, couldn't promote as much. So this is one of the limitations. Another one is another one which I showcase to my painting is lack of mentorship. Like due to lack of mentorship, the women are not getting the correct guidance for bringing the change in the rural communities. Like there are many avenues in the 21st century now, but they are not aware regarding that. Another one, women as agriculture is one of the primary
Nahuli ji,
occupation in the rural areas. Yes, yes.
are you changing the slides? Because
Yeah.
we are still on the first one.
No, no, no. I will change. I'm just giving the context.
Okay.
So yeah, as agriculture is another primary occupation, so women are also unaware on how to promote the agrarian products, or how they can also participate in the agricultural activities to help their families and bring additional income to their family. So, based on this, let me show you. So, yes, this is the painting which I have made. The theme of the painting is, what if the women SHGs get full fund? Like, what if they got the full attention of all of the agencies, government agencies, then the panchayat, rural banks? What if they give the full fund women SHGs
Like what could have happened? So the first component, as I mentioned, that digital literacy is lacking. So what if the women get the fund and they get access to the technology such as computers and mobile phones and internet connection? They can learn new skills. They can apply them in their entrepreneurship or even in other activities if they want to pursue. They can learn new skills. They can also learn new governance techniques. They can make their own decisions by attending workshops digitally also. Like sometimes going to different places may become an obstacle for these women. So they can use technologies for these purposes also. The next one is, here is a young girl teaching her mother. Now this shows the importance of adult education. Like how the younger generation like us can also teach the older generation for those who couldn't afford education for the conservative mindset, as many of my co-fellows have mentioned. So for that, education and awareness is also important. Like the opening of schools for adult women, like there are schools for young children, but for adult women also it can be it becomes necessary to open educational institution or organization where they can be taught about the laws which can help them to grow, or any government schemes, or even skills, capacity building programs, skills which can help them to uh, generate income, or even many other aspects. The next one here, I have showcased an animator or the facilitator, which is the guiding force of the SHG. An animator facilitator is an individual who guides the women members of the SHG in the initial stage. Then through the guidance of a person, the SHGs then make their own decisions and they take further steps. So if there is a woman facilitator, it becomes the women members of the SHGs become comfortable in sharing their concerns, their issues, and also the women can understand perspective of the women SHG members and provide solutions accordingly. The next theme that I have chosen, the component of the painting, is agriculture. Why I have chosen agriculture over here? First of all, agriculture is one of the is primary occupation in many rural areas till now. India is known as the agrarian society. It's known for its agrarian society, but the women participation also is uh, not seen so much in this regard. So the women in the rural areas can actually use agriculture as a medium to generate additional income, such as whatever they produce, they can actually sell in the local market without any market intermediaries. So, so if women if through capacity building programs and help of NGOs, with the help of NGOs and institutions such as NABARD, or if the rural bank gives them the loan by seeing their worth and not based on gender, then this can also be a way of uh, economic development for this group.
Please wrap up in a
And the
minute.
last one which I wanted to cover is the collective action. Yes, yes. So through this picture, I want to show that women SHGs are one of the mediums of collective action. Like they It is a medium for social networking and trust building through which the women of the rural communities gather together and they can actually voice concerns regarding education, literacy, healthcare, childcare, sanitation, and many other basic amenities, shelters, housing, etc., where they can raise their voice together to the institutions such as panchayats or other members, and they can collectively bring solution to the problem. Thank you.
I think you have given a very comprehensive view of the SHGs. Now, I think you should also focus on one missing aspect, which is the how do they negotiate forward and backward linkages, no, to deal with the market. So, and what kind of enabling environment which state can provide? Because we had a microfinance bill which was presented in the parliament, but the bill has not become an active by an act. And why can't directly women be supported rather than going through the microfinance, private microfinance institution, which are not different from any saukars, the money lenders and all. They charge exorbitant rate of interest. So I think that issue of 2% or 3% rate of interest, which comes to 24% per annum or 36% per annum, I think that also needs to be debated. There have been so many women who have committed suicide in Andhra Pradesh, even in Maharashtra, when the money lenders, they also, the private microfinance institution, they also hire bouncers. So if you are not able to give your, first of all, they are after you to borrow money. And once you borrow money, within a week, their bouncers start harassing you. So I think those kind of a violation of human rights and also harassment of women by the private microfinance institution. What is the sort? NABARD is doing good job, but why private microfinance be supported by the state? Why should union government pump in money to the private microfinance institutions? I think that also needs to be highlighted. Otherwise, your papers. Some of the policies, in terms of policies, direct support to SHGs and direct support to federations of SHG rather than going via and getting the mediator as private microfinances.
Yes, ma'am, there is an SHG Act for it, but the thing is that I don't think the Act is implemented properly. That's why we have to, the women members have to go through the NGOs or any other private agencies to sort to gain some help.
But you should also go through the microfinance bill that was prepared in collaboration with like Indian Institute of Microfinance, started by Dr. Ila Bhatt. That was also, they also came up with a microfinance bill, which never became act. It always remained a bill. And once you don't discuss the bill, it lapses, no? So I think because this microfinance bill had a very, very interesting, very pro-women, pro-women aspects to it, no? So I think you should also, because the microfinance bill was prepared, I think, in the 2012 or 13. Only Karnataka has passed it. Karnataka is the only state which Karnataka, they came up with a Karnataka micro loan and small loan prevention bill, which was presented in this year only. So I think you can also, different state governments, what kind of measures have been taken. Or in Andhra Pradesh, V. Rukmini Rao, she filed the public interest litigation when women started committing suicide because of the harassment by private microfinance institutions. And after that, the government of Andhra Pradesh, they also brought in protection, protective measures for the women in the microfinance. So the response is at a subnational level. I think that should also be shown that which are the best practices. Or in the Kutumbashri model, where the state government directly supports the SHG Kutumbashri, 10% of the state budget directly goes for women in the poverty groups, and most of the anti-poverty programs are implemented by Kutumbashri. So that is another model. which is so that women are not going with the begging bowl to the private banks, no, or the private financial institutions. So this, I have shared the link of Karnataka Micro Loan and Small Loan Prevention of Coercive Action Bill 2025. You can, I think, get
Thank you, ma'am.
similar,
Surely.
similar
Yes,
initiatives
ma'am. Thank you,
by
ma'am.
SHGs and federations of SHGs in other states also, especially Andhra and Tamil Nadu. You would get it, even Maharashtra. Yeah. Good.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Noholi ji. Jyoti ji, please go ahead now.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, IMPRI, for giving me such an opportunity to present my work and my research speech. So,
Jyoti ji, your audio is not clear.
just now, just check. Is it fine?
It's faint.
Okay, yeah, now we can hear.
So, is it a short film, a sort of documentary? Is a creative reflection of my research on community-led approaches to menstrual health and education among marginalized girls and women. Actually, it's a bold topic, but okay, let's start. Are you able to hear the audio?
Not right now. Could you just leave it for play for a couple more seconds so we can check?
Okay.
No, we can't. When you were sharing the screen, you on the right-hand side, there might have been a box that has the option for share sound. If you can reshare and click on that button and then share the screen, that would be great.
Okay.
Just click on the share, and then when you see the different windows, you click on your window, the one that you want to share. And right-hand side, if you'll see, there are two options: share sound. Yeah, and then you can submit or share.
It takes time actually. Share sound and optimize for video sharing. Fine. Okay. No, let's check.
Yeah, we can hear.
Okay.
सदियों से यह चला आ रहा है कि जब किसी लड़की को पहली बार मासिक धर्म होता है तो वह अपने शरीर में हो रहे बदलाव से अनजान होती है। हर चीज के लिए उसे रोका टोका जाता है।
मम्मी मुझे भूख लग रही है।
रुक, तू अंदर मत आ, तू अभी गंदी है, मैं वहीं खाना लेकर आती हूँ।
कि तुम्हें पहला पीरियड किस उम्र में हुआ था?
जब मैं स्कूल में थी, जब मैं होंगी ज्यादा 13-12 साल की, जब हुआ था मेरे क्लास में, जब मुझे पता भी नहीं चला था कि मेरी ड्रेस कब खराब हो गई थी।
तो मुझे शर्म लगती थी, मतलब हमारे घर
Jyoti ji, the video is not progressing.
पीरियड आ गए।
Please
Video is progressing. Yeah, video.
Yeah,
And
video is
plus
not
there is
progressing. Please reshare and don't click on the optimize option.
Okay.
Just the share sound, not the optimize option.
Sure.
तो पता भी नहीं चलने
Now?
देती क्योंकि हमारे साथ बोलते हैं
Yes.
Okay.
मुझे छी आया, पीरियड आया, तो मतलब कि ना धो के खाना बनाना, ये बोलती थी। और क्या कहते हैं, पूजा घर में मत आना और मंदिर में हाथ मत डालना, मतलब ऐसे ऐसे बोलती थी।
मन में सवाल तो बहुत आते हैं, पर उसके सवालों का जवाब सिर्फ खामोशी होती थी। माहवारी एक प्राकृतिक प्रक्रिया, फिर भी इसे एक टैबू ने घेर रखा है। मैं एक
visual is
सामाजिक
not
कार्य
going
करता
active.
हूँ। माहवारी के इस गहन सन्नाटे को तोड़ना मेरा लक्ष्य बना। इसीलिए मैंने शुरू की अपनी
Yes, Jyoti ji, very sorry to interrupt, but the video is The audio is very faint and the video is not running properly. It's stuck on one screen only, just the one shot. Can you WhatsApp the video on the
Yeah,
group?
right now.
Yeah,
No, it's
just
not
WhatsApp.
No,
No,
it's not
right
possible.
now,
Actually,
not
it's on my
possible.
laptop only.
Oh,
Actually, I rushed to develop it, so I didn't get the
then
WhatsApp
can
version
you
for
email?
this.
No,
Yeah,
that's okay. Can you email just on? I'm putting my email ID on the chat box.
Okay, I'll try.
Just email. In the meanwhile, we'll go to other participant and
Yeah,
then I'll
sure,
come back to yours.
sure. I'll do. You can start with other participants.
Yeah.
I'll just share it.
Okay. Next.
Hello.
Next in order, we have yes, Meenakshi. Yes.
Very good evening, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes.
There is a power cut, ma'am, so I'm not able to. There is a low charge also. Please bear with me because video is not on.
Yeah.
No, that's all right.
Ma'am, after share button, which should I click, ma'am? Which one? Like screen, ma'am? Entire screen, right?
Yes, you can do entire screen or you can select the particular window where your video is running. That will also work. And on the right hand side, click on share sound.
Okay. I don't have any video in that, ma'am.
Then that's fine. You don't need to share sound then.
Is my screen is shut now, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Very good evening to the Honorable Chair, YWLPPF team, and my dear co-fellow members. Today, I would like to present about the unlocking women empowerment. So these are the insights from ground to governance in skills, SHGs, and sustainable futures. So these are like particularly field experiences from last 3 years. So myself, Meenakshi, I work as public policy consultant, expertised in skill development. So I have a 3 years experience in only skill development sector, but holistically saying skill development is not just one zoner, it is a holistic development. I got through the experience later, ma'am. So, okay, we'll unlock every E. In 5 E's, we'll unlock every E so that will lead to the women empowerment. First comes the education. So education enhancement should be not only driven towards the skilling and entrepreneurship models, ma'am. So skilling programs are conventional and lapping with other initiatives in the government. So some national programs are converging with the state programs as well. So there is a need to have the facilitation for the do the particular program for the particular set of target audience, and then there will be a development. So, and also skilling should be given utmost importance in the formal education as well. So industry oriented skilling should be taken up in educational institutions. So for example, we have got industry 4.0 courses in Telangana advanced technology centers. So that is under the ITIs, ma'am. So it is a team collaboration between the Tata company and the Telangana government. It is also developed in Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Uttar Pradesh, and many, I think 8 to 9 states now. So these centers are like PMKVY. The first photo is from the PMKVY, where I don't only teach the training course, but also the mental health and everything related to the women. So next photos is National Academy of Construction. So where this women go undergo the skill training. So next is that we also have some programs in the National Skill Development Mission, so that like Sankal Strive also being merged into the education. So now we are unlocking the second, that is employment. Have the career guidance cell. We have employment exchange, job melas, skill education should be importance. Employment training institutes have in overall banks, IT with the bring about new technologies as well. So my study indicated connecting employment was so
You have lost.
Yes, ma'am. I
Yeah.
think poor bandwidth. Jyotiji, I'm unable to play your video because it's saying that the format is not supported. Something wrong with the extension. Could you just cross-check and reshare? Ma'am, should I move to other candidate?
Yes.
Okay, so that is Meenakshi ji, and it seems we'll have to get back to Jyoti ji and Meenakshi ji later. Amruta ji, if you're here and ready to share.
Yes. Good evening, one and all present over here. First of all, thank you so much, ma'am, for this wonderful opportunity. Actually, I wrote a script and created a mono act based on my research. And my topic is Women at the Table of Public Policy Formulation and Leadership Role in Maharashtra. So I'll just text the pointers of my research into chat box and play the video, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay.
निर्णायक कुर्सी, आधी आबादी की आधी हिस्सेदारी। अक्का नाम की एक सरपंच आपके साथ अपने विचार साझा करना चाहती है। वह महाराष्ट्र के एक गांव की सरपंच है। मैं जब सरपंच बनी तो पता है गांव की महिलाएं क्या कहने लगी? अब तुम्हारे हाथ में सत्ता है, सत्ता। सत्ता। ये कुर्सी देख रहे हैं आप? ये सरपंच की कुर्सी है। पर मैं जब भी सभा जाती थी, सभा में कुछ लोग इस कुर्सी पर मेरे पति को देखते थे। और फिर मुझे तब लगता था, क्या मैं सिर्फ नाम की हूँ? क्या ये कुर्सी, ये सत्ता मेरे पति की है? पर अब ऐसा नहीं है। अब बदलाव आए हैं। गांव के लोग मेरे काम से बड़े खुश हैं। जब तक औरत नीति के मेज पर नहीं बैठेगी, तब तक उनके लिए कोई ना कोई निर्णय लेता रहेगा। ये वह मेज है जहां बजट बनता है। यह वह मेज है जहां महिला की सुरक्षा की बात की जाती है। ये वह मेज है जहां अस्पतालों के लिए योजनाएं बनाई जाती है। पर इस मेज पे हमारी कुर्सी हमेशा खाली कैसे रह जाती है? औरत रोजमर्रा की संघर्ष जानती है और इसीलिए महिलाओं का इस कुर्सी पे होना जरूरी नहीं बल्कि अनिवार्य हो जाता है। विधानसभा में 228 सीटें हैं और महिलाएं कितनी हैं उसमें? सिर्फ 22। 21 करोड़ का बजट बनाया महिलाओं के लिए, पर ये सब तो सिर्फ कागज पे ना, हकीकत तो वही है। रोज का संघर्ष। ये निर्णायक कुर्सी जीतना ही सब कुछ नहीं है। इस कुर्सी पर बैठकर अपनी आवाज भी बोलना, यह एक बदलाव लाएगा। नीतियां बनती हैं, कैसे बनती है? नीतियां बनती है पानी की टंकी से, स्कूल की कक्षा से, आंगनवाड़ी के पोषण से। नीतियां बनती है घर की सुरक्षा से, और औरतें इन सभी चीजों का विचार करती है और इसीलिए औरत का इस कुर्सी पे होना बहुत जरूरी है। पर क्या एक सरपंच यह बदलाव ला सकता है? बिल्कुल नहीं। मैं और मेरी जैसी कई औरतें जब विधानसभा और संसद में बैठेगी और वह भी बराबर का बैठेगी, तभी यह बदलाव संभव है। कभी कभी सोचती हूँ कि छोड़ दूं सब ये सब विचार, पर फिर पता है गांव की वही महिलाएं जब आती है तो कहती है कि अक्का जब तुम बोलती हो ना, हमें बहुत हिम्मत आती है। तो बस उनकी आंखों की वह चमक देखकर मैं रुक जाती हूँ। अगर देश की, अगर राज्य की आधी आबादी की कुर्सी खाली रह जाती होगी ना, तो वह नीति किसी काम की नहीं, किसी काम की नहीं।
Hello.
Hello. Yeah. So, Amruta ji, your film is very effective. It conveys the message. Only thing that you should also bring what all she will have to do to contest election at for Lok Sabha or Vidhan Sabha, because there'll be governance there would be very, very complicated. So, in what way the capacity building will be done by her? So, if in monologue, if that also comes about what are the intricacies of governance in terms of area development, in terms of writing proposals and using the Member of Parliament Area Development Fund, taking up the issues of gender budgeting, how would she promote the developmental needs of women in terms of education, health, employment, skill, combating gender-based violence, and also the representation and voice of women. So even if you can have a couple of dialogues about that what difficulties that women elected representatives are facing and how courageously they are combating the obscurantist forces or patriarchal or hypermasculinity, that has come out very well. But what has she to offer for the development of her constituency? That aspect should also come, because that is a major challenge all women elected representatives face. And if they are not able to fulfill that, then they become an object of ridicule or just.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. I'll take that into consideration.
Yeah.
Actually, there was time constraint, so I tried to wrap up it in 4 minutes.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. Thank you. But it's a very, very, very heart-touching way in which this monologue proceeds. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, now my internet has got stable. Can I come in? Meenakshi.
Yes, you can. I would just urge that if you could go a little faster?
Yeah, sure. So we have already completed about the employment. So it is about the RCTs as well. Next, I have escorted the even women in NARDPR for the SHGs, where they could actually learn about the honey beekeeping. So they can come to the district and infuse those learnings. So next, E is entrepreneurship, which is my favorite of all. So entrepreneurship is turning skills into the sustainable ventures, successful models like Kudumashri, Seva, along with government programs like ODOP. So now Telangana have started Indra Mahila Shakti, which showcase how women-led businesses drive through the self-help groups. As well as during my Dalit Bandhu experience, I observed how mentorship and community-based support going to the ground level and asking them questionnaire, as well as making the support empower women to establish small enterprises, driving both economic and social change. Here, I have designed the women-centric course, as well as started Flame of Entrepreneurship. So where we'll teach the entrepreneurship models in the college, as well as after the college, we'll start a course, and then they can start their own enterprise. So here they have started boutiques and beauty parlor centers. So we are unlocking fourth one, that is engagement, which is very important for all the women. So here engagement, we have when I have got exposure to the G20 meeting, where women as active participants and propellers of economic growth, where self-help groups thing was explained, and we discussed there, that I have brought to the district of Khammam district, and where we have discussed about how we can actually develop SHGs. So they actually lack the access to demand-based skilling. Fragmented coordinations will be there. So our core idea is that map SHG women to the appropriate skill training. So we have to converge with the other stakeholders like Sept, NABARD, MSME, mainly with DIC to converge on the PMAGP. We should have the real-time dashboards for the strong monitoring and the tracking. So we have to treat SHGs as skilling engines, not just the saving units. So from self-help to self-reliance, so we can empower women through skill and dignity. So last and final 5E is that environment. So here E is very intertwined with the sustainability. From the course of Aditi Kapoor ma'am, not only practicing the sustainable practices like solid waste management, I got to exposure about the how important the women-led climate smart livelihood projects are important. So renewable energy initiatives, eco-friendly practices. So where I got exposure to the international climate conference about the biogas, I have brought it to the district where all the agriculture officers will be there, from where these learnings will be disseminated to the SHGs and other people who actually work on the climate related projects. So these are my recommendations. It's very much essential to create job-driven courses for the skilling and employment. So we all over India, through the Sankal project, we have district skill committee. So where a district collector is the chairperson. So they have to converge more for the skilling, because all the departments have to converge. Training partners should be effective in teaching. So going to the grassroots levels would synergize the realities. So through this, we have improved skilling and employability, strengthened convergence, increased SHG incomes. So I would say this 5E model was not brought from somewhere. Through the field experiences, I have got a acronym that all these things can definitely lead to the women empowerment. So integrating education, employment, entrepreneurship, engagement, and environment through the self-created 5E framework creates a comprehensive pathway for women's empowerment. So thus it leading to the women-led development. So my research and field insights show that these pillars, when implemented together, transform individual capacities, that is women empowerment, into systemic change. So it can foster the women-led development across the sectors. So through this, we can have the change across women leading change across the sectors and scales. So I would like to thank all the faculty members, chair member, and whole team of YWLPPF.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Meenakshi Gangam. I have 3 suggestions. One is about the forward and backward linkages.
Yes,
How
ma'am.
can it be done by women's collectives as well as by the state can also facilitate that, no?
Yes, ma'am.
So
It
that
is already done, ma'am. So through the
forward and backward
collaboration, ma'am.
linkages. Yeah, so
Yes,
just
ma'am.
mention that, no? It is already there.
Yes, ma'am. It is
Because that's a
done
major
through the
challenge they
Ministry of
face.
Urban and it is done through Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs through a brand called Soncharia. We have done the forward and backward linkages. So where their products got global market, that is into the Flipkart and Amazon, all this.
So write that in a box or as a case study, no?
Sure, ma'am. Sure, sure.
And second thing is branding. How do they do the branding of their product that people would always buy that, no? The way corporates do branding, what are their ways in which women's collectives are doing branding of their products?
Yes, ma'am. This is the most focused area. Actually, when we have tied up with the MOHUA, their Flipkart and Amazon agents, they themselves came to the districts and they have showed how to do the branding and all those things like peculiar pictures, DSLR pictures were taken. So through that proper marketing and branding thing, it got published.
So write that story also.
Yes, ma'am.
Third one is that digital technology. To what extent are they using it and in what form? In the form of video or in the form of written text in Telugu or any other poster? So how is digital technology facilitating their business?
Ma'am, in Dalit Bandhu entrepreneurship, whenever they start the entrepreneurship model, digital technology, bookkeeping courses are taught to them. So in digital technology, only basic things like UPI, how to read the messages or like how to hear them through the other sources are being taught to them through different faculty member for that. So separate trainer will be there for them.
Yeah, but see, there are women who are not reading and writing. Even
Yes,
for them, digital technology has been taught by Seva or Anandi, where
Yes,
you handle camera, you handle digi-camera and come up with the short videos of the activities that happening, or you interview women from the village and upload it on your website or whatever, Facebook or Instagram. So for that, I think technical knowledge or ability, literacy is not it's not a requirement. You can, even without that, you can use the digital technology.
Whenever such SHG members will face the issues, or else when any individual face the issues, like the group leader or the community leader will take the charge, ma'am. Like usually that will happen in the villages. So they will take care of all the things, and whatever the outcome will be there and amount will be there, that will be given to the SHG member. Like leader will be there, that she will be taking care.
Yeah. So use of audio and video technology also for mainly upscaling the work or even branding or increasing the scales, sales and making people know about your activity. That has been done by where literacy is not it's not just a requirement. If you are literate, it's fine. If you are not, then too you can use this technology. So they are given training how to use camera, how to use videos, so that they become self-sufficient. And whenever the things are happening, they can do real-time documentation.
Sure, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Definitely we can do that, ma'am. I have 2 videos, pre-recorded videos of that, ma'am. So,
so you gave all these stories, no? Because these are very important stories. Processes are very, very important, so that they can give idea to others also that such models are replicable in other geographical location or in other circumstances, no?
There is a very interesting story, ma'am, where women have actually started the business in COVID time. And then after it got hit, even husband have left his software job and he got into that business, and it grown into like so many members into that business now.
Yeah, I think in catering business in Bombay also it has happened. Small scale industry in which husbands were doing sweatshop, like they're working for 12, 15 hours without getting minimum wages and delayed payment and wage theft. They also, when their wives started catering business and it it flourished, especially in the post-pandemic period. So husbands also joined them. So women cook and husband, they become the suppliers. Yeah.
And happy to share that, ma'am, like if everything is fine, like I'm in the final stage, ma'am, so I'll be going to work on particularly on the SHGs of total Telangana state as consultant for the Indira Mahila Shakti program, where we'll be doing training, skill trainings, that is like for about 60 lakh women, like 6 lakh SHG groups.
Yeah.
So
good. But I think storytelling style will really work very effective in your essay. Yes.
Sure, ma'am. Sure. Thanks
Qualitative
a lot, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Meenakshi ji. Bhavna ji, you can please go ahead. Then we have Ma'am Archana ji is last, and then there are 2 videos.
Yeah.
So Bhavna ji, please go ahead. Meenakshi ji, if you can just stop sharing.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. Good evening, everyone. This side Bhavna Gauri-Shankar Verma. I have been working in the development sector for 4 years, mainly as an advocate for gender rights. And based on my experience on grassroots, as an implementation person of the alternative education program, skills training, and prevention of violence against women in SC and ST Act, I have chosen this topic of safe travel options for women. And I am going to share my photo essay on that. Just give me a second. Is it visible?
Yeah.
Okay, so these photos have been taken from the internet and the due credit is given on each photograph. So my research is basically based on the policy of gender and transport, but it is limited to Delhi only. So through this research, I am trying to understand how women are affected and how their lives are affected by the transport policies brought by the government. So, as we all know, that mobility is freedom, but in India, women's access to safe, reliable, and affordable transport is still shaped by gender, right? From metros to buses, autos to cycles, every ride tells a story of both empowerment and constraint. With more women stepping into the workforce, pursuing education, and navigating public spaces independently, yet their travel choices are often dictated not by preference but by safety, affordability, and accessibility. Many gender inclusive transport is are being brought forward by the government of various states, including Delhi. So there have been policies like free buses for women, pink tickets for women, and pink autos for women across different states of India. But gender inclusive transport is not just about moving people; it is about moving society forward. So with better policies, safe design, and inclusive planning, India's transport can empower every journey women take. So it started with this. I just googled, and I had this confidence that the public transport is not safe for women, and I just wrote just 4 words that women harassed in bus news. This is a snippet that I took from today only. It's dated 30 August 2025. So how many women are being harassed in public transport, including buses? So these are just as you can see that here are 3 cases, not dated, not with much time difference. So it shows that urban design influences women's travel choices, one of it being safety issues. Poor lighting, deserted bus stops, and lack of public toilets push women away from using public transport. And all of it limit their mobility as well as their opportunities. Women often make multiple short trips, as we all know. We also do it, that we have to go for work. Many of us do bear the responsibilities of childcare, household errands, routes shaped by care work and family responsibilities. These journeys are not visible to the government, maybe, but these journeys are there. So, since women are missing from the policy making tables, our policies related to transport are not gender inclusive. These invisible journeys need better recognition in transport planning. So I just have one question, that of all the women present in the meeting today only, if the bus travel is free, but looks like this, how many women will still choose to prefer it as a commute option? I don't think many, because this is one of the famous, it is ISBT Delhi, from where many buses are interconnected to different states, but it is so poorly lit, it is so stinky, that not many women will feel confident to choose bus as a public transport option to commute to different places, also limiting their opportunities and any other options to grow further. But now, after the introduction of women as cab drivers, women as auto drivers, there is a possibility of growth. So these are few uh, options which can be catered and explored by the government to make gender inclusive policies. Uh, Based on my research and preliminary findings from my research is that, so my first question is, what are the primary way of commuting to different places? So as we can see that all my respondents are women based in Delhi only. 93.5% of them are relying on the public vehicles. um, Even if it is a public vehicle, most of them are relying on the metros, despite knowing that all of them know that 93.5% women know that the free buses are there, but still they choose metros, e-rickshaws, or cabs over buses. So there are some reasons that the Delhi government and other governments also need to look after to make gender uh, inclusive transport policies. This is it from my end, ma'am.
Yeah. So I think gender in transport is the most important concern, and that too after 2013 Nirbhaya tragedy. And there are you have brought in the question of mobility of women. That is one aspect, but also it also enhances their economic participation, work participation, and also business. No, after Delhi Metro, Delhi they gave free travel. That study by Asha Kapoor Mehta and Diksha Tayal, which appeared in Indian Journal of Labor Economics. I have shared the reference in the chat box. And also another study of Maharashtra, when it started recruiting, because there were so many cases of harassment of young girls and even boys in the state transport. So they started training women bus drivers and conductors. And so many from the tribal community under the tribal sub plan also it happened. And what initially they joined, but what were the limitations which they found? First of all, there were no women's toilets for the drivers
Right.
who had to drive for, say, 8 hours and long distance driving with that to do, or even their own safety, or the safe halt. If your bus reaches some village or place at, say, 11 o'clock at night, okay, where would they be? So this kind of a support system, those issues also came up. Some of the issues were also when the commuters turn violent. How do you manage the ticketless travelers, predators? How could they cope up with? No, so many other factors which also prevented them to continue their job. And third one was, in certain routes where there was a overall safety and the citizens were respectful of them, or they were they were like a responsible citizen, they continued. But in certain routes it was very difficult for them. Another thing which they did was, the UN Women with several women's organization was a 3D program. They came up with a manual, training manual for women in the for the all stakeholders in the transport sector. So I have shared these three documents with you in the chat box, which you can download, and also you can bring up this kind of issues also into this. So mobility is one aspect, but also economic activities and their overall confidence, no, which increases when you become, because so many women from the marginalized sections, they find transport costs is the most prohibitive thing. If they make some food, or if they make some artifacts, or if they make some handicrafts, and if they want to sell, whatever little they get, that will be completely wiped out by the expensive transport. So subsidized transport, the experiences of Andhra Pradesh in terms of security of women, especially after the murder and rape and murder of that woman health professional on the national highway, Andhra Pradesh also came up with a policy that any time any woman asks you to stop the bus, you have to, whether it is a bus stop or not. That came out in the rural region of Maharashtra, lonely region. Karnataka also came up with the free transport, and what were the impact of that. That also the researchers have worked on it. In the Delhi metro, there have been a couple of studies. Yeah.
Sure, ma'am. I'll incorporate these, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, you can download those documents. They are there on the chat box.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah,
Archana
photo
ji?
story is very good. Yeah.
Yes, I will just share my screen and start. Okay, is it visible?
Yes.
All right. Okay. Greetings, everyone. My name is Archana, and my project is Law for the People. It explores the profound paradox that I have been firsthand, and while the law is meant to empower the grassroots women leaders, it often becomes the wall that excludes them. So for the past 2 years, I have been worked with this incredible women, and their passion is undeniable. They are at the front lines of the social, political, and economic work, running programs on everything from the women property rights to the Right to Be campaign. These women are not just volunteers, and they are the true leaders actively working to ensure the women's participation in the governance and dealing with the government officials every day. Yet, their leadership is consistently undermined by the bureaucratic and the legal barriers that make it nearly impossible for them to formalize their organizations. So, my presentation will show you how the system, why the system in its current form and is failing them. Here we see the paradox of our law. This paradox stems from the fundamental conflict. Our legal system on the left is built on a foundation of the complex language, inaccessible online portals, and the expensive professional fees. The law is designed for the accountability, but the processes are anything but the transparent for those who need them most. In the contrast, on the right, we have the grassroots reality. There are women from the marginalized communities who are the true leaders of the change and are the forefront of the vital initiatives like the Right to Pay campaign and the securing women's property rights. Yet, though they're consistently looked out of the system that should be supporting them. So the 1 second. Yeah. So here we see this grassroots reality. I found that the women leaders are forced to navigate the, labyrinth of the forms, from annual filing like ITR 7 to specific registrations like 12A or ATG. This compliance is burden the immense of the takeaways, the time and energy from their core work. Second, there are the prohibitive cost. As a professional, help them to navigate these forms is simply expensive for the small organizations to afford. Then, third, we can say the digital divide. 1 second. I think is it my screen is visible?
Yes, screen is visible.
Yes, here we are. Sorry. Yes, digital divide. And the fourth one is visualizing the impact of the consequences of the struggles are devastating. Uh, my research found that the structure and uh, defranchisement leads to the inability to get the funding and the eventual dissolution of the organization. These women are the fighting for justice on the ground, but they are silenced by the system that refuses to recognize them. The law is not a tool to exclusion and not empowerment. And here it's a maze of the paperwork, making the law as a doer. My project is a call of a fundamental policy shift, and the solution lies in making the law. Uh, solution lies in making the law is a law as a law a doer, not a wall. We must simplify the law by rewriting the compliances rules and the plain in a plain language. We need to create the decentralized support by providing them legal aid in the local communities, and we must develop the accessible guide that can be easily uh, understood to them. This is the impact I have you know got it from my last 2 years work. uh, okay, so by concluding this, I'm just saying it. My research provides a vital contribution to the field of the legal empowerment. It shows that if we want more just and equal society, we must start with the simple steps by making our law accessible. And the women I have worked with are already leading the change. We just need to ensure that the system gets of their way. Um, that's it, I think. Yeah, thank you. I will stop sharing here.
Would you also like to reflect on the model of Lok Adalat and Jan Sunwai, the public hearing, and what have been the outcomes of it as against this complicated law, which is so expensive, inaccessible, and also the overall bias against the poor, marginalized people it has? As compared to that, how do you find because we also passed the Lok Adalat Act, no? And during the 80s and 90s, there used to be there. Now also we have a Jan Sunwai people's hearing, which is the initiative of the civil society organization. So can you even provide your reflection on these two models?
Um, I will do it as this in this research. I have not mentioned about the Lok Adalat, but I will definitely
And
add
also Jan
this.
Sunwai also.
Yes,
Because Jan
definitely.
Sunwai organized by Dalit organization, Adivasi organization,
Hmm.
women's organization, health movement. Even during the pandemic, there were Jan Sunwai about how who were left out, whether sex workers or transgender people, or Jan Sunwai about exorbitant charges with the way nursing home, the private practitioners were fleecing people. There was a Jan Sunwai on that also. Issue-based Jan Sunwais have also been that, and that also gives you a lot of data and the people's perception of how the system is working, no? Which sometimes translates into public interest litigation. You must have noticed recently Shakuntala Bharera has filed public interest litigation in Bombay High Court on behalf of a Janaswasthya Parishad, People's Health Assembly, about the exorbitant charges which were taken by the private medical practitioner during pandemic. No, it is based on this study by Sept. So I think those some of the inspiring examples of how people's agency has brought in changes in the system. Even the compensation, so many private practitioners were asked to return the money. No? So those are incremental achievements or incremental successes, but they do boost the confidence of people in themselves and their collective voice. No?
True,
Yeah.
true. I will add that one. Thank you so much.
It's a very, very good. Even your framework, your analytical vision, and the ground reality that you are bringing in your essay is very good. But also tell that this work, and based on that, you can also give your recommendations. You are given 3 recommendations, but 4th recommendation can also be there. What the civil society or the people's initiative, bottom-up approaches can be replicated, and their voices can be amplified.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
Very good.
Thank you, ma'am. Next, I'm presenting Jyoti ji's video that we couldn't watch earlier. And Jyoti is also present here, so after the video, she can take the comments.
सदियों से यह चला आ रहा है कि जब किसी लड़की को पहली बार मासिक धर्म होता है तो वह अपने शरीर में हो रहे बदलाव से अनजान होती है। हर चीज के लिए उसे रोका टोका जाता है।
मम्मी मुझे भूख लग रही है।
रुक, तू अंदर मत आ, तू अभी गंदी है, मैं वहीं खाना लेकर आती हूँ।
कि तुम्हें पहला पीरियड किस उम्र में हुआ था? जब मैं स्कूल में थी, जब मैं होंगी ज्यादा 13-12 साल की, जब हुआ था मेरे क्लास में, जब मुझे पता भी नहीं चला था कि मेरी ड्रेस कब खराब हो गई थी।
अच्छा। मुझे शर्म लगती थी, मतलब हमारे घर पे भी, मतलब मायके में भी और यहाँ पर भी, मतलब पीरियड आ गई तो पता भी नहीं चलने देती थी, क्योंकि हमारी सास बोलते हैं कि अगर ये चीज आया, पीरियड आया तो मतलब कि नहा धो के खाना बनाना, ये बोलती थी। और क्या कहते हैं, पूजा घर में मत आना और मंदिर में हाथ मत डालना, मतलब ऐसे वैसे बोलती थी।
मन में सवाल तो बहुत आते हैं, पर उसके सवालों का जवाब सिर्फ खामोशी होती थी। माहवारी एक प्राकृतिक प्रक्रिया, फिर भी इसे एक टैबू ने घेर रखा है। मैं एक सामाजिक कार्यकर्ता हूँ। माहवारी के इस गहन सन्नाटे को तोड़ना मेरा लक्ष्य बना। इसीलिए मैंने शुरू की अपनी खोज टैबू से ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन तक।
स्माइली डेज समय समय पर स्कूल्स में जाके, कम्युनिटीज में जाके महिलाओं को, लड़कियों को इनके पीरियड संबंधित जानकारी प्रोवाइड कराता है, ताकि ये पीरियड्स को नॉर्मल टॉपिक लें। जो हमारे समाज में हम लोगों को बचपन से बोला गया है कि जो पीरियड्स होते हैं वो एक शर्म होती है या एक झिझक होती है, हेजिटेशन होता है, उस चीज को हमें तोड़ना है, उस चीज को समझाना है कि पीरियड्स शेम नहीं है, शर्म नहीं है, बल्कि पीरियड्स क्या है? प्राउड है। पीरियड्स क्या है? प्राउड है।
मैंने कुछ महिलाओं और लड़कियों को चुना जो आगे चलकर रोशनी की किरण बन गईं।
ये है स्माइली दीदी, जो स्माइल पहुंचाती हैं आप तक।
उन्होंने सीखा, समझा और फिर दूसरों को भी समझाया। हर एक आवाज एक क्रांति बन गई। जब एक लड़की ने कहा, मुझे माहवारी से डर नहीं लगता और माहवारी होना मेरे लिए गर्व की बात है, तब मुझे विश्वास हुआ कि बदलाव शुरू हो चुका है।
और मैं पहले पीरियड को लेके नेगेटिव सोचती थी, अब मुझे बहुत अच्छा फील हो रहा है और प्राउड की बात हो रही है कि पीरियड्स मुझे होते हैं।
अब तुम स्माइली डेज से जुड़ी हुई हो और बच्चियों को, महिलाओं को स्माइली डेज देती हो, उनको पहुंचाती हो, कैसा महसूस होता है?
मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगता है।
क्या चीज अच्छी लगती है इसमें?
इसमें ये चीज अच्छी लगती है कि मैं, मतलब कि जो लड़कियां शर्माती हैं, जो दुकान से लेने नहीं जा पाती, तो मैं उनको देती हूँ और बोलते हैं कि दीदी हम दुकान से लेने नहीं आ पाते हैं और तुम घर पे आती हो, तो हमें बहुत अच्छा लगता है। और सबसे बेस्ट ये लगता है कि भैया भी कॉल करते हैं मेरे पास कि दीदी मेरी बहन के लिए पैड दे जाओ, क्योंकि ये बोलते हैं कि मेरी बहन पे फोन तो है नहीं, तो ये मेरे फोन से करती हैं और कई बार मुझसे लेने भी आए हैं। मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगता है कि मतलब कि सब चीज नेचुरल है, कि ना भैया, मतलब ये चीज नहीं है कि जी पीरियड एक वो लगता है कि भैया से शर्म, पापा से शर्म, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है। मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगता है कि कुछ लोग सुधर रहे हैं कि मतलब पीरियड अच्छी चीज है।
आज हमारे पास एक पूरा समूह है जो हर बस्ती, हर गली में माहवारी पर खुलकर बात करता है।
तो जो इस तरीके की महिलाएं हैं जिन्हें हम स्माइली दीदीज नाम दिया है, जो घर घर जाके खुशियां पहुंचाती हैं, उन्हें पीरियड्स के बारे में जागरूक करती हैं, मेंस्ट्रुअल हाइजीन के बारे में बताती हैं, पीरियड्स में क्या इस्तेमाल करना चाहिए ये बताती हैं। इस तरीके की महिलाएं सही मायने में समाज में बदलाव ला रही हैं, जिससे कि हमारे यहाँ की छोटी बेटियां, बहू बेटियां, माताएं ये भी समझ रही हैं और अपने स्वास्थ्य के बारे में अच्छी तरीके से समझ के आगे बढ़ रही हैं।
अब दीदी के जुड़ने के बाद में हमें पता चला कि टेट ज़्यादा अच्छा होता है। दीदी ने हमें बताया कि ये अपने गर्व की बात है एमसी से होना, ये शर्माने की कोई चीज़ नहीं है।
यह सिर्फ एक खोज नहीं रही, बल्कि एक आंदोलन बन गया है।
So this is a short film is creative reflection of my research. Actually.
Yeah. So I
So
think
through
the last image should be that of what you would like to recommend. No? Because
Yes.
in terms of public policy, what do you
Hmm.
want to say to the community, to the government, and also to the school teachers or what your didis and all? So
Yes.
public policy should come out in the last one, no? Which you may not give it commentary form, but at least it should be 3, 4, 5 recommendations that emerge from your experience, because
Okay, sure.
the story has unfolded very well, that how it started from the beginning, prejudice, and how the the types were breaking, and because of the constant and consistent work of the didis and all, scenario change. But then this is in one particular context. But now how can we replicate it? What can the state do it? No, that you
Okay, I'll add it. Definitely. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you
And
for your
very good
suggestions.
contribution.
Thank you so much, ma'am. That was our last presentation for today.
Yeah.
Unless if there's anybody that we left or missed out, but everybody who's here was on the list, so we've covered all.
Yeah.
Yeah. With that, ma'am, I think we can go for the closing remarks for this program now, since this is the last day.
Yeah. So I think it's a very important that we got today the whole summing up by Comrade Mariam Dable, because she also brought in and reiterated what our earlier experts had said over last 7 days and some 14 lectures, and the sessions were very interactive. So I'm really happy that you all were so proactive. And today, like seeing your presentation has made me so proud that the efforts which the IMPRI team has put in and the way for past 2 months we have been interacting with each other has had such a inspiring result. And I know whatever form you have used, whether your creative expression through poetry or film or poster or images or photo stories or essays, I think we are going to have a very result-oriented outcome. And also in terms of concrete policies, recommendations which are grounded in the local reality. And it's a collective endeavor of all of us. We are thankful to all the resource persons, all the fellows, and the IMPRI team for this collective endeavor, and the very democratic way in which the whole course was conducted has also enhanced and boosted our confidence, self-confidence, and also the outcome has also been very desirable and very emulating, worth emulating. Yeah, thank you.
If any of our participants have any feedback for us, you're more than welcome to share it with us over here, or later, along with an email, a feedback form will be shared with you. You're more than welcome to share your insights and comments over there as well. With this, ma'am, I'll proceed with the formal vote of thanks for this program.
Yeah.
As we are concluding the Young Women Leaders in Public Policy Fellowship, the third cohort, themed Women Leading Change Across Sectors and Scales, I, Priyanka Negi, on behalf of IMPRI Gender Impact Studies Center, extend my heartfelt gratitude. We sincerely thank our chair, Professor Vibhuti Patel ji, for convening all of these sessions and chairing the program and guiding all of the fellows throughout this program. We thank our esteemed expert, Ms. Mariam Dhavleji, and all the experts throughout this program who gave their invaluable contributions and engaged with us in powerful discussions throughout this program. We thank all of our participants who have raised pertinent questions and have actively participated in today's deliberation. Once again, the session readings and resources will be shared via email. A feedback form will also be shared via email. The certificate of participation will be provided after filling out the feedback form. We look forward to seeing you in the next cohort or at future IMPRI events. And if you're following our work by watching on YouTube, listening via podcasts, or reading our publications, we truly appreciate your engagement and support. Once again, thank you for being a part of this very important initiative. We wish you a great evening ahead. Thank you all and good night.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all, fellows. Yeah.